Okay, so we're back for another deep dive, and this time we're going to be looking at chapter 2 of the book of Job.
Yeah.
And, just a reminder, this is a book that really kind of throws us right into the middle of this whirlwind of suffering and faith and how those two things kind of grapple with each other.
Yeah.
And in the last chapter, we left Job having just lost everything. All of his wealth, all of his kids.
Mm-hmm.
But he still stayed true to being a righteous dude.
Right.
He's still worshiping God, praising God.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, he's hanging in there.
So now we get to chapter 2, and God and Satan are having another one of those little chats.
Yeah.
And it's like God's permitting Satan to kind of go after Job again,
Yeah.
but this time inflicts some real physical suffering.
I know. It's fascinating because it feels like this back and forth. Like God's almost the one initiating it again.
Right.
He's like, have you considered my servant Job? Still doing pretty good.
So come on, step it up a little bit.
Yeah, well, and he points out, like, look at how amazing Job is. He's still praising you.
Yeah.
Even after all of this. And it's like, God's almost giving Satan permission or egging him on.
But, does that not seem kind of harsh to you?
Yeah.
Where's the love?
It's definitely one of the tough parts of this book.
Right.
Like, God's putting Job through the ringer, and you kind of wonder why.
Yeah.
But it's something that you see throughout the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about Abraham, being asked to sacrifice Isaac, or even all of humanity with the flood, or even Pharaoh hardening his heart, It's like, is God constantly testing us, looking for this absolute obedience? And, where does our free will come into all of this?
It's a tough question to even try to begin.
A lot of theological debates about that one.
And so this time, the test is physical, right? Like Job is really suffering. He's covered in sores.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic.
He's sitting in ashes. He's scraping himself with a piece of broken pottery. It's like really intense imagery.
Yeah, it really gets the point across about how much pain he's in. And it's here where you can kind of see the first little crack in Job's faith.
Yeah, and it's subtle. But in chapter 1, he was like, I'm going to accept whatever God gives me, good or bad.
Right, he was all in. Whatever happens, happens.
But here he says, I haven't sinned with my lips.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's almost like there's something happening inside him now.
Yeah.
He's starting to question things.
Like doubt is creeping in.
Right.
It's like a little seed of discontent starting to grow.
And it makes me think of that Leonard Cohen line,
Yeah.
There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
I love that.
It's almost like that crack in Job's faith isn't a bad thing.
Right.
Maybe it's like the start of him actually understanding on a deeper level.
Exactly. Maybe questioning and doubt aren't the enemies of faith.
Right.
But they're actually like part of the journey.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not just going to blindly accept this anymore. I'm going to grapple with it.
Totally.
And then right at this moment, all of Job's friends show up.
Oh, yeah. They come to comfort him.
But there's this really powerful image of them just sitting there in silence
Yeah.
with Job for 7 days and 7 nights.
That's a long time.
It's like they understand how heavy this is.
Yeah, it's not just a quick visit. They're committed to being there with him in his suffering.
And maybe they also sense that something's different with Job now.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the physical pain, it's something more.
Right, like something shifted inside of him.
Yeah.
And that's what sets us up for the next part of the story.
So we've got this idea of suffering as a test of faith.
Right.
But where does questioning and doubt fit into that? Like, is it possible that real faith actually needs us to wrestle with these tough questions?
It's a really good question, and one that we'll definitely be exploring more as we continue.
Yeah, so much to think about as we keep going with Job. I mean, this story is like thousands of years old, but it still speaks to us today.
It really does.
It makes us face those same questions about suffering and faith and doubt and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it doesn't give us easy answers.
Yeah.
Which I think is what makes it so powerful.
So make sure you join us next time because Job's friends are finally going to break their silence.
Oh, it's about to get interesting.
And I think things are going to get even more intense as they start sharing their opinions.
Definitely buckle up. We'll see you then.
Bye.